Hello and welcome to another episode of Tech Man. Today we'll be looking at the Miroir micro projector. This was originally available for roughly £100 at the now closed electronics store Maplin in the UK. This is a portable battery powered projector that boasts its DLP capabilities, which we'll see how good are in a minute. This projector has an LED bulb which will definitely pump out a good image at a 720p resolution. But it will accept other resolutions like 1080p, 480p and maybe 800 by 600. The projector will project at 720p until the 50-inch screen size is breached. Just like any other projector, it is best in dark spaces. With the HDMI interface, it is very easy to connect to smartphones, tablets, laptops, GoPros, media streamers such as Chromecasts and Fire TV sticks. It will also connect to game consoles and most likely any other HDMI equipped device. It has a 2-hour battery life and a tiny 1-watt speaker. However, these can be plugged into an external speaker, which we'll be doing later. On the back it basically says the same, but with a few pictures which I'll pop up on the screen.
This first image is of someone in a tent watching a landscape. This second image seems to be some men watching a football match on a sheet. This last image is of someone watching television on the wall. So, without further ado, let's get back to the video.
Opening up the box, we see the cables, accessories, and a very, very thin manual. Here we have the micro USB charging cable. There is also a very short HDMI cable, HDMI to HDMI. And we also have a very small but nice touch of a micro HDMI to a full-size HDMI adapter. Let's close up on that. So, putting that aside, looking inside the manual, the very thin manual. At first, we have the contents. Then, the next page, we have warnings and FCC rules. And then we get to the interesting bit. We have the location of the parts on the projector, some specs, which you can pause to read there. And then going further on, we have a nice list of devices that you can use it with. Pictures of the manual will be displayed after the end card at the end of this video. But if you're watching this in 1080p, and if the camera focuses, you might be able to read it. I also have some basic instructions about operating it. You know, some standard information. And then troubleshooting with frequently asked questions. For example, the image is blurry at the top here. Got solution to that. That is the manual. Okay. So, as I said earlier, I'll flash those images up and then we'll stop the scripted segment of the video to take a look around the projector and test it out. Looking at the projector, on the top we can see the Miroir logo, focus wheel which is labelled, there are 2 LEDs there which you will see when it's turned on, and there's the tiny 1-watt speaker which you might be able to see. The camera doesn't like focusing. On the front we have obviously the lens, and we have 2 vents for passing out air. On the side we've got the on-off switch and volume controls. That's it for that side. On the back we have the audio output, HDMI input, reset hole and micro USB charging input. On the other side there's nothing, but on the bottom we have more ventilation, 4 feet, which you probably can't see, a rubbed off sticker, and a tripod mount, which we will be putting it on this very small tripod later. Now let's test it. Now the projector is on the tripod. we will not need this adapter for what I'm connected into. I'm connecting it to my laptop. So here we have the very short HDMI cable, which I'll plug into the HDMI port I have lying next to me. So that simply goes into the back, like so, and then other end of HDMI goes into the HDMI port, which I've got here. That's now plugged in. Micro USB for charging. We'll plug that in as well, like so. Perfect. And we'll plug that into the laptop just in case it's not charged. So I'm just plugging that into the laptop now. And as we can see, that LED is lit up. The one next to it's a blue LED, which lights up for, pretty obviously, power. So switching the projector on, we will see a post, hopefully. Yeah, a very small screen. This does need quite a lot of distance. But yeah, we seem to have an image. So if I put that into focus, we can see the resolution that it's set to. And if I get it just right, we see the definition. Zooming in on that image, the camera does not want to focus, so I'll go ahead and focus it, and then I have now focused the camera, and we can hear that tiny 1-watt speaker playing the sound. This is on 22 on the laptop, and if I turn that all the way up, it pumps out a decent sound, but definitely not loud enough. So I'll be plugging it into some external speakers. This is highly zoomed in as the projector needs a lot of distance, and I've got about a foot distance away from the wall I'm projecting onto. So actually plugging in the speakers, we're not going to be plugging it into the projector itself. We're going to be, I've got it plugged into the laptop, it will be software defined. Just because it could, tug on it, and this needs power. So going over to my speakers. These aren't the best speakers, but, they do the job. We can, if I full screen this 4K video which is playing, we can see it actually looks pretty good, and this is sending at the 720p resolution. Obviously we've got the smaller screen size, and then we've got the biggest, which is out of focus there. But if I focus that projector just right, yeah, you can see a lot of detail in the image. You may see some scrolling lines on the screen. That is not visible in real life. It's just the refresh rate between the camera and the projector. But looking at the squirrel there, we can see the grass, and I'm kind of show you that at the front the grass is out of focus, and we can see the squirrel's hair. We can see the squirrel's hair. So overall, 720p resolution and 60:9 mode, it does look pretty good. I mean, if I move this back, obviously we'll get more of a bigger screen size. But at that screen size, we're really probably getting, I've knocked it out of focus there. That is a slight complaint about the projector. The focus wheel's too easily moved, so when you move it, it will knock out. But if I turn the volume down now, we can see that for £100, getting this small projector with a micro USB cable, a micro to full size HDMI adapter, and an HDMI cable with frequently asked questions and other basic information in the manual, I'd say that for £100, it's not a bad buy, to be honest. I mean, it's definitely not too bad. I'm filming this on not my usual cameras. My usual cameras are either a Sony Handycam, a Vivitar DVR 908 MFD, so the Sony Handycam's the DCR SR32, or my main camera is one I've unboxed on this channel, and it's the Polaroid IE126, which shoots at 720p, and really is made for video, so it shoots really good video in my opinion. But then again, you'd have to be the judge of that. But I'm just trying in 1080p on this Nikon camera. But that's all I have to say about this projector, and I'll say that even though the camera's not focused, now it is, this little projector that's £100 pumping out that resolution at 15 lumens, which is perfectly bright enough. I've got a brightly lit studio room, and that's clearly visible, and the speakers are lit up. It is, you know, a good buy. You can get similar things on Amazon from the same company. You can also get small miniature projectors from companies such as Philips, which are more expensive and a bit larger, but they have a VGA input, so you can obviously connect a wider variety of things. You can also get others from Miroir themselves. They do not make this model anymore, this one I'm showing here, but they make a very similar model, and I'll leave a link to that in the description, and some other models. I'll leave a link to Miroir projectors on Amazon for the UK, that is, but you can still see it. So thanks for watching this episode of Techman. I'm out.
So these are the images from the manual that I have taken, also with the Nikon. They seem to be of decent enough quality. If some are blurry, I may re-upload the video. If it gets over, let's say 10,000 views, I'd probably re-upload it to make it a bit easier for newcomers to read. But if you know, one of them that's been here for a while, you'll understand I can't always get the right focus. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Bye.